what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person, nigga. To say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a...
Gervonta Davis pushed back hard against Terence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson, questioning what they have truly accomplished in boxing so far. He made it clear that he does not see Shakur as a real threat to him inside the ring and dismissed the idea that the matchup would be competitive. Davis also claimed that both fighters have been criticizing him without justification, saying they don't actually know him personally or understand who he is beyond the sport.
Never. He would never even think about to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47, though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens? Or is it like...
I just really don't like that, dude.
Why, though?
Because I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's like
not your cup of tea. That's just not your...
I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got.
That attention wasn't coming from just one direction. Gervonta Davis continued to apply pressure and openly push for the fight. At the same time, Shakur Stevenson seemed to adjust his approach more quietly behind the scenes as public debate grew over whether Davis was truly willing to make the matchup happen. Stevenson appeared to take the talk personally and treated the situation as motivation rather than backing away from it.
And then want to be buddy-buddy. You know what I mean? Saying all this stuff on Twitter and then run in my locker room and want to take a picture and all that type stuff. I bet. We ain't cool no more. Wait, none of that. That's it. That's what it is. You feel me? Niggas got to stand on it. That's why I'm in that mode now. Like, I ain't got no friends in this.
Me personally, I never heard them disrespect you as a man.
Like, saying I won't fight somebody disrespecting.
Like, nigga, I never heard no shit like that.
But if you know me, you know, like, don't go on no internet talking about you want dad step in the... What you mean I want dad step in the ring with you?
Right.
That's disrespecting me.
Yeah.
As the situation escalated, Shakur Stevenson dismissed the idea of a fight with Gervonta Davis, making it clear he doesn't depend on anyone to elevate his name or career. When questioned about the matchup, he downplayed its significance and refused to give it much attention, stating that he doesn't focus on people who think he needs them. Stevenson also emphasized his confidence in his own status, saying he already considers himself a major star in the sport who can generate big earnings independently.
Do you believe we will finally see Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis in 2026?
I don't even want to speak on him. I don't got too much to say about him.
Tell me why. Where's that heat come from?
I don't talk on people who feel as though I need them, because I don't need nobody. I'm a big superstar in my own right. I make a lot of big money in my own right, and I don't need nobody.
The tension reached a point where even the mention of Shakur Stevenson seemed to irritate Gervonta Davis. Whenever comparisons between their records came up, Davis avoided engaging in the debate. Instead, he redirected attention toward his own career and achievements, making it clear that the rivalry had become more personal than professional and that he was focused on his own direction rather than the back and forth.
I ain't gotta fight somewhere else and prove itself and then, like, you feel me? You know how they got UFC and like the underground? You gotta fight on the underground. Then you get that.
You gotta go to the G League.
You have an idea what your walkout fit might be?
Who would you say is more accomplished in the sport, Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson?
What you a Shakur fan or something?
No, I said Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson.
Why you keep bringing up Shakur? He's fighting mad fighters out here. I'm fighting Shakur. I mean, I'm fighting Lamont. You keep bringing up Shakur, bro. Get out of here. You from New Jersey or something?
No, I'm from here, from DC.
Yeah, what's the problem? That's probably why.
In the middle of all the tension, the situation took a sharp turn when Shakur Stevenson stepped forward and made it clear he was ready. He openly called out Gervonta Davis, pushing for the fight to happen with no excuses and no delays, making it feel like the showdown everyone has been talking about is now closer than ever to becoming reality.
Man, your beef is not with Floyd Mayweather. You sitting here beefing with Floyd. It's the fighter out here that's been calling your name, that want to fight you. Gervonta Tank Davis, let's make the fight happen, man. I'm tired of tweeting. I'm tired of talking about it. Stop ducking me and let's...
As the discussion gained momentum, experts began weighing in with their predictions. Roy Jones Jr. suggested that right now Shakur Stevenson would likely have the edge because of his discipline. He explained that when fighters are evenly matched in talent, it often comes down to habits and consistency, and Shakur has shown a strong level of discipline both inside and outside the ring, keeping himself focused and composed in every situation. At the same time, Jones did not dismiss Gervonta Davis as a lesser threat, making it clear that Tank remains extremely dangerous when he is fully locked in. In his view, if anyone has the ability to beat Shakur Stevenson, it is Davis because of his natural explosiveness and fight-ending ability. He emphasized that Stevenson's discipline has been more consistent than Davis's in recent performances, which is why he would slightly lean toward Shakur in a hypothetical matchup. However, Jones also refused to give a definitive answer, stressing that Davis's raw talent and power mean he can never be counted out, especially when he is mentally focused and in the right mindset, as he is capable of troubling any opponent in the division.
To any opponent.
Shakur wins it because of his discipline, because he showed against Teofimo they can stay very disciplined all night. And he's the type of guy, he don't really do a lot of crazy stuff in his life normally. So it's like discipline is a thing that is not only exercised inside the ring, it's exercised also outside the ring. And as we see, sometimes Gervonta has problems with discipline, but we have never seen Shakur have problems with discipline. We've seen him be more disciplined at the right time than we've seen him not have discipline. So with the fight being like it is right now, I would lean towards.
Looking more closely at the matchup, analyst Teddy Atlas broke down what makes Shakur Stevenson such a difficult opponent. He pointed to Shakur's elite ring awareness, precise timing, fluid movement, and his ability to control distance and pace, forcing opponents to fight at his rhythm. Atlas explained that these traits make Stevenson one of the toughest fighters to solve in boxing today. However, he also warned of one major threat that could disrupt that dominance, and that is Gervonta Davis, whose explosive power and finishing ability make him a constant danger in any exchange.
If somebody could beat him, Tank Davis would be that person because of his intention. When Tank is disciplined and got his mind on right, Tank's a problem for anybody. Tank can fight better than most people think he can. It's just that sometimes his outside antics get the better of him, and it makes people think less of him, but don't underestimate Tank Davis. If Tank is motivated and ready to fight, Tank is a problem.
As talk around the fight heated up, Mike Tyson also weighed in and didn't hesitate to show support for Gervonta Davis. He described Tank as a monster when he is at his best. Tyson acknowledged that Shakur Stevenson is highly skilled and disciplined and noted that his style can sometimes slow fights down because he is so good at controlling the pace. However, Tyson believes that constant aggressive pressure is what truly tests Stevenson, and in his opinion Davis is the fighter capable of applying that kind of intensity. From Tyson's perspective, that relentless style is what could give Tank the advantage in a potential showdown.
Because Shakur Stevenson is that difficult, because of his style, because of his abilities, because of his eyes, because of his, his legs, that his hand speed, the way that he controls range. Tank Davis is the only guy that I can see that could possibly decipher that style and beat Shakur.
During a detailed breakdown, Terence Crawford gave his prediction clearly and without hesitation. He chose Shakur Stevenson to come out on top while stressing that his opinion was not personal. Crawford made it clear he respects Gervonta Davis purely as a fighter, describing him as talented, dangerous, and one of the biggest names in boxing today. He separated personal views from professional ability, giving Davis full credit for his skill set and impact on the sport. Even so, Crawford stood by his pick, saying Stevenson operates on a different level, and that difference in style and control is what he believes will decide the fight in the end.
Now that Shakur and Gervonta.
Gervonta Davis?
Yeah.
I like to go with Tank. Everyone's going to go with Tank. It would be a very interesting fight. Shakur takes a good shot, though. He's a specialist. That's why some fights that he doesn't look good in, because he's so superior. He is boring watching sometimes. But he's a specialist. He knows what he's doing. He's hard to beat. To bring out the best in Shakur, you got to pressure him like Tank. Tank will bring out the best of him, and we'll see a great fight. Tank is just a monster.
Terence Crawford didn't soften his stance in his latest comments as he openly criticized Gervonta Davis on a personal level, describing Tank as arrogant and too relaxed with fame and security. He suggested that Davis's mindset may be influenced by always having a strong circle around him that shields him from outside pressure. Even with that criticism, Crawford made one thing very clear: he still respects Davis as a fighter, acknowledging his power, talent, and in-ring ability. However, he drew a strict separation between the athlete and the person, stating that his respect applies to what Tank does inside the ring, not outside of it.
And who you got winning that?
I got Shakur.
Are you saying that because that's your man? You don't like Tank?
No. Hey, like I said, I respect Tank. like boxing, he's one of the ones.
Yeah.
We gonna take his personality and personal things out of it. But boxing, he's definitely talented. You know what I mean? And he's definitely got that it. And yeah, he's definitely respected in boxing. But Shakur is a different fighter. You know, Shakur.
Meanwhile, promoter Eddie Hearn acknowledged Gervonta Davis as an explosive and dangerous puncher, but also highlighted the risks that come with his style. He pointed out that Davis has still given away rounds in fights against opponents like Frank Martin, Ryan Garcia, and Isaac Cruz, fighters he does not place on the same technical level as Vasily Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson. According to Hearn, Tank often depends on his raw power to erase mistakes, but questions remain about whether his overall boxing fundamentals can hold up against elite-level opponents. His warning was straightforward: if Davis cannot land his big shots, he could find himself falling behind on points and forced into a difficult situation as the fight progresses.
Like nothing about him. You know, I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just, one of these little arrogant little dudes, you know, using what he got to shield him. You know, like, he got a lot of security guards around him, and he know, you know what I mean, he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect him as a fighter.
Yeah.
You know, he definitely got skills, he got power, he got tremendous boxing ability, but like his core personality and his ways.
Former champion Timothy Bradley spoke honestly about Gervonta Davis, and his frustration was obvious. He said he actually wished he had Tank's mindset because Davis's ability is proven in the ring, not just hype or talk. While other fighters like Ryan Garcia were grabbing attention and headlines, Bradley reminded fans who has truly been stopping opponents, pointing to Davis as the one delivering real finishes. He mentioned that Mario Barrios was undefeated before Davis took control of their fight, and Rolando Romero also ended up in the same situation. In Bradley's view, this is not a coincidence but a clear pattern of dominance. His message was simple: if Davis fully accepted and committed to who he is as a fighter, he wouldn't just be chasing greatness, he would already be the one setting the standard for it.
Thing is with Tank, who I think is a brilliant fighter, right? So exciting, very heavy-handed. He loses a lot of rounds, right? He lost rounds against Frank Martin. He lost rounds against Ryan Garcia. He lost rounds against Pitbull Cruz. And these are all guys that aren't on the same level as Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. So he has to put a dent in these people, otherwise he'll get beat. But he does put a dent in them because he punches really hard. And Tank's not just a puncher, he's got a good boxing IQ as well. I just don't think he's technically, or the IQ is as good as Lomachenko or as good as Shakur Stevenson. But can he put a dent in them? Because I promise you this, if he don't stop these people, he will be behind at nearly every junction of those fights.
As the tension continued to rise, Timothy Bradley urged Gervonta Davis to take real action. He noted that criticism was getting louder, with many questioning whether Tank has truly faced the elite names in the sport. Bradley challenged him directly to step up and silence those doubts by taking on the toughest available opponents, stressing that great fighters separate themselves by embracing the hardest challenges. He added that if Davis remains locked in, disciplined, and fully committed, he would not just be competing at the highest level, but could take full control of the division and prove just how dangerous and dominant he really is.
Man, I wish I was in Tank's body. I wish I was in his damn mind, dude. For real. You guys gotta understand that last week, two dudes we've been raving about for the last week and still continuing on. The dude that's in the headline right now, Ryan Garcia, guess who knocked this? Tank Davis. The dude that he just fought, Mario Barrios, that he couldn't get rid of, guess who knocked it when he was undefeated? Tank Davis. Guess who Ryan Garcia lost to? You know what I'm saying? Before this fight? Who he lost to? Rolly Romero. Guess who knocked his? Tank Davis. So what I'm telling y'all is, man, that I wish, like that kid the other day, he would have lost out. He leveled the hell up. He took that chance. And guess what? He realized, damn, I belong. I belong, man. That's what you need to realize, Tank. You belong, dog. For real. Because if you all the way focused, dialed in, bro, you come back, you dedicate a year and a half to this game, you will turn this game upside down. Upside down. To all the way focused, Tank, can't be. Can't, I'm telling y'all.
Expanding on his thoughts, Sean Porter emphasized that the biggest fights are the ones that reveal the true depth of elite fighters. He explained that super fights are never decided by power alone, but require timing, discipline, strategy, and the ability to adjust in real time. According to Porter, a fighter's real intelligence shows when their original game plan falls apart and they are forced to make quick decisions under pressure. In a matchup of this magnitude, he believes fans would see a more controlled and calculated version of Gervonta Davis, not just a knockout puncher but a fighter capable of thinking through the fight round by round. His overall message was that true greatness is achieved when natural instinct is combined with smart adaptation inside the ring.
Everybody thinks that Tank is gonna go in there and just knock out Shakur.
That's not gonna happen.
But it didn't take. It shouldn't have taken this fight.
I knew he couldn't.
For people to realize, right?
I knew that too. But yeah, Shakur is a defensive specialist.
And I've been saying this for a long time. If you pay attention to how Tank would react whenever Shakur's name came up, I was like, yo, something that Tank knows that most people don't know or understand. There's something that he sees in Shakur. It could be the fact that Shakur was a 2016 silver medalist. You know,
he's got a lot to do with it.
He's that, you know, the silver child of the country, and you know, there's no telling. But this is what I've always known. It ain't just a big straight left or a big left right hook coming from Tank that's going to end that night. That night is going to be the most strategical you've seen both these guys ever be in a fight. I don't know if we're going to ever get it.
I think we will.
While discussing the potential matchup, Sean Porter pushed back against the hype and dismissed the idea that Gervonta Davis could simply end the fight with one punch. He explained that it is a mistake to believe it would be that straightforward, especially against someone like Shakur Stevenson. Porter described Stevenson as a defensive specialist and suggested that Davis is fully aware of that challenge as well. In his view, the fight would not be decided early by a knockout but would instead turn into a highly technical battle, more like a chess match, where both fighters would have to think and adjust constantly. He even predicted it could become one of the smartest and most strategic performances of both of their careers.
Pull it out of them. We looking forward to the big fights. We looking forward to the big matchups because those are the kind of people that's going to pull it out of them. So with a fight with Shakur, you're going to see this boxing style that you don't usually get from Tank. You're going to see IQ. We saw IQ, but to me, it was low IQ because the reason why it was low IQ is because everybody followed the script. And what I mean by that is you see somebody's IQ take place when a fighter makes an adjustment and now you have to adjust to what that fighter is doing. And that's kind of where you see
who's smart.
Finally, experts continue to point to a potential Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson showdown as one of the most anticipated fights in boxing. Both are young elite stars competing at the top of one of the sport's most exciting divisions. When two undefeated level fighters rise in the same weight class at the same time, a clash between them becomes almost unavoidable and increasingly demanded by fans, media, and the boxing world as a whole.
Fight could be between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson is obviously two of the best young fighters in the hottest zone of boxing that there is in the sport.
Building on that, Shakur Stevenson has consistently made it clear that he is willing to face the biggest challenges in the sport, even if it means working across different promotions. He has openly shown interest in matchups against fighters like Lamont Roach, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and Gary Antoine Russell, signaling that he is not avoiding anyone at the top level. His stance reflects a strong confidence in his ability and a clear desire to prove himself against all available contenders.
Shakur has shown more than an openness and a willingness to come over and fight, or to at least fight guys that are with the PBC, in guys like Lamont Roach, Pitbull Cruz, Gary Antoine Russell. So he's very open-minded about doing that, right? And saying, no, I would definitely fight these guys. And one of the pieces of evidence to that is, his compliment that he paid to Gary Antoine Russell and his willingness to fight Gary Antoine Russell in the unification at 140. But so you have that with Shakur Stevenson, and you have Gervonta Davis, whose legal troubles, even though they're not gone, and I want to be very, very clear about that when I talk about it, they're not gone yet. He's got to take care of some business and some things.
What started as simple back-and-forth talk has now turned into a rivalry that feels increasingly unavoidable between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Driven by pride, confidence, and the fight for recognition, the tension between them continues to grow. Every comment adds more intensity, and every response pushes the pressure even higher. At this stage, verbal exchanges no longer feel enough, as the ring appears to be the only place where everything can finally be settled. Fans sense it, the division feels it, and the anticipation keeps building. It is no longer just about personal rivalry but about timing and fate, leaving the big question whether 2026 could finally be the year this long-awaited fight becomes reality.